Welcome back to GEM, Moving for Health. And in this segment, we're focusing on the spinal column and the lower torso, the lower body. And oops, I forgot again. In the last segment where we focused on the upper body, I didn't mention, but it might have been obvious to you, that almost all of those movements could be done seated in a chair with slight adjustments. So if seated in a chair works better for you, you can do it that way. Best if you can do it standing or mixing both of them together, but whatever works for you. Also in this segment, this would be a little bit more challenging seated, but it is possible, and I'll demonstrate that in another segment. So, spinal column, lower torso. As we said in the introductory sections, the spinal column, which we tend not to pay attention to until we are injured, is of such vital, crucial importance to our health and well-being. And particularly for the structure of our body, holding ourselves erect so we don't do this as we tend to do as we age, but also our whole nervous system flows through the core of our spine. And whenever the spine is out of alignment, that presses on nerves, which affects other parts of the body. So doing these routines that help flexibility with the spine are of critical importance. So I invite you, again, don't watch, join in. So once again, allowing the eyes to close. For me, that's important. You can't watch me close your eyes, but I like to go inward and sense first the alignment of the spine and relaxing breath. And let's begin then with the feet below the hips. And we're going to try a movement, or we're going to explore a movement that is variously called a pelvic tilt, or it can also be called a pelvic clock. The pelvic clock is if you imagined a clock right here. This would be 12, this would be 3, this would be 6, this would be 9. So we begin this exercise, this movement. I want to avoid the word exercise. That has such bad connotation for many people. These are movements. So gently tilt the spine forward. It's like you're moving from 12 to 6, forward and back, rocking the spine. And feel the extension and stretching that you get in the hip and into the lower back. And again, start with small steps, do it slowly and gradually, and you may find, hopefully you will find, that the range of motion is increasing, breathing and relaxing. And then going from 3 to 9 on the clock, moving the hip left, and then moving it right, moving it left, and moving it right. And a lot of that is just shifting in the leg joints or in the hip joints. Okay, so we've done that movement. Now, let's, as if we had a hula hoop around our waist, and for this I like to put my hands on my head to get the feeling of it, extend the arms a little bit more, and gently circle around the hip, moving and opening that hip, breathing and relaxing, stretching it out. The lower back, which is so critical, of such critical importance, and is so easily the cause of things like sciatica and various other problems, needs attention, tender, loving self-care. And now a motion, the hula hoop motion, we've all done. This one is a little different. This is like a cement mixer, as if you were moving from 12 to 3 to 6 to 9. And for this one, I'll keep my hands here, it's circling around this way, up and side and around, and then reversing the other direction, reversing it, circling around. And I like to do it with my hands over my head. And you can actually begin to feel a circular massage in the abdomen, in the inner organs. Breathing and relaxing, stretching out. Okay, good. Now, ordinarily when I do this routine myself, I start from the chest and work down. Starting here with the hip, because that's the easiest. That's one that we probably are familiar with in terms of our muscles and so on. This one is a little tougher. Think in terms of the center of the belly, the belly button. As if, and you can, it's not only as if, you can push the belly button out and then draw it in as if you were drawing it into the back of your spine. So the movement now is in the center of the spinal column, more towards the center, moving it forward and back. And you are massaging the spinal column in this section by these movements. And movements strengthen both the ligaments, the tendons, and they strengthen bones. The friction causes bones to become stronger. And now we're going to move it from left to right again, the clock again. Now we're going from 3 to 9, 3 to 9. And it helps for me to close my eyes. Other parts of my body will move this with this, but the focus is on the sensations of moving the center section. Again, imagine the hula hoop here. Now as if you could move the hula hoop right in that middle section in one direction, then circling in the other. And here you could really even feel more the massaging, the rubbing together of the inner organs. Feel those sensations. Enjoy the sensations. And now the cement mixer, again from 12, 3, 6, 9. Circle it around, circling around. And then in the other direction. Circling the belly button, as if you could move the belly button in a circle one direction, then a circle the other direction. And breathing and relaxing. And now, finally, with the spine at this little spinal column, moving up to the center of the breastbone area, and thinking of the focus here. Before we move the shoulders backward and forward, this time we're going to try to keep the shoulders relaxed, and we're going to move the chest. Gently thrust the chest and the heart forward and then back. And think of it as massaging the lungs, the rib cage, and the heart. Breathing, relaxing, breathing, relaxing. And then moving from this central point, moving left, moving right, moving left, moving right. And again, I do these things daily, so these muscles of mine are more attuned to doing this. For you, it may be a bit of a stretch if you want to do this exercise, but then take it in small steps. The hula hoop, let's circle and feel the sense of circling and massaging the rib cage, the lungs, and the heart. Breathing and relaxing. And then the cement mixer all the way around, moving from this point up, down, and around. Sideways, up, sideways, down, around. And then in the other direction, breathing and relaxing. And now, just coming into relaxed center position and paying attention, noticing the sensations in the spine. Noticing any places that are sore, tense, or injured. And for those that are not injured, try not to avoid them, but to move them gently, slowly, to invite healing energy, sensation, blood flow, warmth into that part of the body.